Why do we need accountability? Why is it necessary? What is accountability? What will life look like if nobody was held accountable for anything? And if we have accountability, why are things so bad? That's what I want to discuss, is the need for accountability for many things. Because it's my belief a lot of the problems we have are specifically because we do not hold one another accountable. Truly hold one another accountable for their actions. We don't. As children, we learn accountability, right? So as children, our parents ground us if we do something wrong. They punish us if we do something wrong. We learn that if we try to put our hand in that cookie jar and we weren't supposed to, we're going to get smacked. And then what typically happens? Kid may go back a couple times and get smacked a couple more times. Then they're going to realize, I'm not going to go do that, because every time I try to grab a cookie out of that thing, I get in trouble. You know, you can obviously tell the difference between a parent who disciplines their child and a parent who doesn't. You can see. Kids will run around like a crazy person without any structure, doing whatever they want, destroying everything, kicking people, giving them ugly faces. Is that well behaved? No. Well, depends on where you're raised. Depends on what you want. I mean, you can see the danger for a lack of parental accountability. You know, if your son hits another kid, or a girl for that matter, what's going to happen? Either you punish that kid and say, what the heck is wrong with you? Why did you hit that girl? You're grounded forever, and I'm about to spank you. And you're going to learn your lesson. What if that kid doesn't get in trouble? He's going to think it's okay. Kids are programmable. And I'm not talking about like a robot. If parents are constantly fighting and that's all that kid ever knows, they're going to embody that. They pick it up. Heck, you may not have ever taught your kid a cuss word, like directly taught them, hey, say this word. You may say all of these bad words, but then what happens? After a fashion, they pick it up. It's not that you taught them, but the way you act is what they picked up. They embody you. You know, it's dangerous to not hold kids accountable for their actions, because then they don't learn. from their actions. If you're soft on kids, you shelter them from punishment, they can do anything they want. Anything they want. Nobody's going to get in trouble. There is not an authority that is going to punish them for their actions. As a parent, you are the immediate representation of God. They want to be you. They become you. They become what you teach them to be. So if you're a racist, your kids are going to turn out to have racist ideologies. Not all the time. Maybe eventually they'll pick up that it's wrong. But that's going to be in them as a child. You teach them to love your neighbor, they're going to love your neighbor. But if you don't teach them that there are kids out there that are going to bully you and hurt you, and all you need to do is treat those kids as if they need a friend, a lot of problems can happen there. Kids have to be held accountable. And that goes into adulthood. You know, growing up, I wasn't rich at all. I grew up in a very unprivileged environment by comparison in America. Because in America, even the poorest tend to have it better than if you were to go to another country in which they don't even have a house to live in, don't even have a bed to sleep on, or a blanket. You know, yeah, we may be poor. There may be people who are extremely, extremely poor. But 9 times out of 10, in that situation, unless you're homeless, you're going to have at least, if you've been able to go through government or city or local church organizations, you can get housing for free. And then you'll have a television and a refrigerator. And then other local organizations can give you food. A lot of these places don't have that. So to put it very simply, there's help everywhere in America for those who need it. And there's a way to get out of it. But this isn't the kind of conversation I'm trying to have. What I'm trying to say is, accountability as a child helps children grow up and have another sense of accountability. You know, as adults, we need accountability from those close to us, preferably from someone of the same sex, not gender. Okay, I don't care whatever your philosophy is on whatever gender is. Gender is stupid. You know, the gender spectrum is stupid. You know, all you're doing is tribalizing everybody and everything. You're saying that I'm somebody special compared to you. You may be this, well, I'm this. And it's like, why? Why are you trying to fight with everybody? Why are you trying to be so individual? Everybody's tribalizing themselves into little tribes here and there. And then they're fighting with one another because this one tribe believes their ideology trumps this one's. And then they do the same for here and this one over here. And it's nothing but fighting. Nobody's peaceful. Nobody looks for what's in common. And when I mean sex, I literally mean male or female. You either have male parts or you have the female parts. You have to be able to do that. Now, when I talk about accountability from the same sex, men need to hold other men accountable for their actions. If a man sees another man being evil to a woman, he needs to step over there and say, hey, you're being an idiot. This is how you treat a woman. And then when enough men do that, he's like, oh crap, maybe I am being a horrible person. If a male hears that from another woman, most likely he's not going to think anything of it. But when there's somebody there on the same level as him, to say, hey, you know, that he can relate to, that's a good thing. Men need to hold other men accountable. Men don't need women to hold them accountable. Especially whenever it comes to the actions and the things that you do. You know, why do we need accountability as adults? I mean, why is it necessary? You know, I'm a good person. I can do things right. No, you're not. If you think you're a good person, you're missing the point. You have never read history enough if you think you are a good person. Have you ever cheated on a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Have you ever had a grotesque fantasy? Have you ever stolen something? Have you ever thought about stealing someone? Have you ever thought about hitting someone or killing someone? Have you ever just Have you ever want to just cause so much mayhem just for the sake of it? Have you ever wanted to just Have you ever just wanted to just think about your enemy? What's the one thing that you wish you could do? It's probably not pleasant. And you've thought about it. If you were a good person, that would not be a thought. Genuinely. So then, I used to have a severe addiction to pornography, like most men do. You know how I broke it? Accountability. If someone else besides me is seeing what's on my computer, on my phone, They know what I'm doing. And those kind of things, when they're out in the open, can be pretty darn embarrassing. To have your private life put out there. So, that's what I did. I have an app still on my phone so that whatever I do, my wife and another accountability partner knows what I'm doing. My wife can look on my phone at any point. She holds me accountable for my actions. If she goes through my phone and sees another woman there, guess what? I could lose my marriage. And I don't want that. So then, accountability is necessary, because if we were left to our own devices, we would do anything we wanted. I mean, if you did not have accountability as an adult, if you want the best example, and it was like a darn epiphany whenever it finally hit me. There are people who have said that the reason Stalin, Mao, Hitler, Pol Pot, all of these people, the reason they did what they did was because they didn't have a belief in God. I think we could simplify it to the point that they had absolutely no direct accountability as a society. No one told them that killing millions of their own citizens was wrong. Now, do I need to tell you that it's wrong to kill millions of your own citizens? Yeah, probably. I mean, you can't tell me that that is directly obvious. I mean, try going to any African nation where the tribes living next to one another are killing and raping and pillaging those neighbors. Tell them that murdering them is wrong. They're going to say it's crazy. They're going to say, well, we need to kill them because we need their stuff. And in order to take they're not going to give it to us. They're not going to give it to us freely, so we've got to kill them to have it. You can't tell me that it's obviously wrong. You only believe it's wrong because you've been raised in a society that says murdering someone is wrong and you can get in trouble. The police will arrest you and you have the possibility of going away for 10 years to life. We have laws here that say, hey, if you do this, you're going to get in trouble. But guess what? That still doesn't work. You know why our judicial system is broken? Because people lie. People are manipulators. People are not good people. And most of these lawyers, most of these people don't have anything transcendent to say that what they're doing is wrong. And that's my point. All of those societies, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, all of them, they had an atheistic society. There was not a God looking over them, judging them, because they believed he did not exist. There was nobody to say that doing what they did was wrong. In fact, they got away with it for a very long time. They did a good job at it. They did a good job at killing hundreds of millions of people. And a lot of people overlooked it. Because people are liars. People are scared. They don't believe they had a voice. They had the light literally snuffed out of them. People who don't have accountability have a practical 100% likelihood of becoming totalitarian, of doing evil for the sake of evil, because evil is fun. It's hard to remain celibate until you're married, because there's sex everywhere. Women walk down the street wearing yoga pants, every inch of their form accentuated. What do you expect? Men are disgusting pigs. And women flaunt it as if flaunting every inch of their body through their clothing makes them feel powerful. They just walk around naked. Why don't you? Why don't you just sleep with every man willy-nilly? That's what guys do. There was someone said who once that men only need a time and a place. The women need a reason. But feminism has caused women to act just like the men that they think are disgusting. I mean, I'm sure a guy would love to walk around in a Speedo and show his private parts to everybody, be like, oh, hey, look at me. But guess what? That doesn't attract women. But women know that when they dress in that nature, that they are going to get attention. That's why women still need accountability from other women, to show modesty, to say, hey, what the hell are you doing? Why are you out there walking around what seems practically half naked? I can see your entire hip form. I can see every curvature of your rear end. I can see the curves of your private parts in your chest. And that's hard for men. That's why men, heck, that's why the Mike Pences and you know, Billy Grahams are not going into a room with a woman by themselves. They have literally a male accountability partner with them, so they can hold them accountable for their actions if they were to do something wrong. And that's noble. Don't tell me that that's sexist or disgusting. A man who is willing to be held accountable is amazing. Because a man who is not held accountable is going to do some evil, evil things. And women are no better. Everybody is wrong. Everybody is evil. Everyone is terrible. It's accountability that makes us good, natured. We're never going to be good. We're always going to have horrible urges. But if we know that someone's going to hold us accountable, we are much, much less likely to do it. And that makes the world a better place. That's why here in America, we haven't killed over 100 million of our own citizens, because our nature here in America is typically to say that we trust in God here. We believe that there is something transcendent that holds us accountable for our actions, and we're going to answer for them if we do it. And if we do something wrong, guess what? We get forgiveness. And if what we do is typically not nearly as bad as it was, and it could be a part of our human nature, and guess what? The longer we do a better thing, the less likely we're do something wrong. If we don't have accountability, our society falls apart. As soon as this nation becomes an atheistic nation, completely, we're done. Absolutely done. I'm telling you that right now. If you've got a society that doesn't believe in God, guess what? They're not going to say that making you a slave and being subservient, you're not going to be able to say it's wrong. Because then who says it's wrong? Because the Bible says slavery is wrong. People abused the book to make slavery right. And then it got so ensconced into our belief system and our lifestyle that it took us nearly 100 years just to turn it around. And even then, it was still stuck in us for a long time. Men and women need accountability for their actions in everything that they do. Because without accountability, without someone to punish you for your actions or to call you out on it, you're going to do whatever you please. Try and live in an anarchist society where there are no rules. Watch Pinocchio. Whenever Pinocchio becomes the jackass, that's a society without rules. You lose your voice, and then the people above you control you, and you become a slave in that way. And you become evil. You become like the slave drivers. Because no one holds you accountable. Everything that's evil is fun. Everything that's wrong is fun. Think about the ability of going out and destroying something. Why do you watch fights, men? You want to see the other person get the crap beat out of them. In the most stylish possible way. Destruction is fun. Why do you think the gladiators fought for all those people? Why do you think all those people came to watch it? Because they want to see destruction and death. So when we have positive accountability, that's what makes a society better. Imagine if everybody in the country followed the life of Jesus to the T, or encompassed the nature of God completely. That's what Jesus did. If we fully encompassed the nature of God to the T, like Jesus did, imagine what society would be like. If you have a business, it may be good for you to screw all your business partners, make a lot of money. Guess what? Whenever it fails, you aren't going to have any friends. Building up by being kind may take a little bit, but guess what? The foundation is strong. It's going to stay there. And then once it flourishes like crazy, because you're taking care of the people you work for. You're taking care of the people who are making you better. And in turn, you're making society better. Because then those people have a good outlook on a daily basis. Embody accountability, guys. Embody it. Men, get some male friends. Some good male friends who aren't out there committing anarchy. Who aren't out there cheating on women. Good, respectable men. Men who aren't out there bent on destruction. You know, women do the same thing. Get with women who are modest. Get with women who respect themselves and let them hold you accountable. Don't sleep with every man in existence. Sex is only physical. It doesn't last. It only lasts in a relationship in which both partners hold each other accountable for their actions. That's how trust is bonded. Sex is only pleasure. You know, we need meaning. And if we don't have accountability, all relationships will fail. And the world will be worse off. It took me a while to get to that point. To understand that accountability was so necessary. Because, I mean, and I repeat myself, just look at all the societies that were atheistic. They had no direct accountability. They truly believed that there was no God. So guess what? No one could tell them that they were doing wrong. I mean, Friedrich Nietzsche said it. When he coined the phrase, God is dead and we killed him. He said we were going to have to come up with our own morals and values when we got rid of God, because God gave them to us. And he wasn't a Christian. He wasn't even a fan of it. You know, he basically thought that religion made you a slave. But he predicted that the next century was going to be the bloodiest thing he's ever seen. And it's not easy to prophesy. It's not easy to truly prophesy. That's why the prophets of the Bible were so amazing. They were smart people. Like him. Prophesy is knowing human nature, knowing the actions they've done, and then what that's going to do. Rationalizing that out, if that can be done. That's not easy to figure out. But they got it right. If God's not there, we've got to come up with our own values. And guess what? You know what my value is? I want to sleep with as many women as possible. I don't care what you have to say, because that's going to make me happy. On a selfish level. But when you have accountability, you work for others. You work for the benefit of society and not yourself. You learn something like that. We're not simple. We can't come up with our own values, our own rules. And then if we do, who's the one who dictates it? You? You aren't a good person. You don't have a good nature. You want to have sex with as many people as possible. You want as much money as you want, as much pleasure as possible. Let's simplify it there. You want as much pleasure as possible. And that means a lot of things. A lot. Well, I'm going to end it there because I feel like I basically made my point. You know, I explained how, you know, as children, we learn our accountability, and that moves on into adulthood. And then I further explained why, as adults, it's necessary. And then even further went on to explain how I believe it's necessary to have a transcendent accountability partner for the things that you do. And also explained why we can't hold ourselves accountable. Because we don't want to. If you have any questions, comments, if you want to yell at me, tell me I'm wrong, debate this, you can email me at themichaelshornshow@gmail.com. That's the Michael Shorn Show, all one word, @gmail.com. No spaces. You can email me directly. Ask me questions. Yell at me, do whatever. I just think it's important. Because the less accountability we have, the more dangerous our society will become. Less and less people are believing in God. That's why more and more societies are becoming more and more violent. I saw a billboard a while back that said, "Be a man, pull up your pants, and be someone to emulate." That's right. That is right. Be someone to emulate. I'm sure a lot of the dangerous areas in our inner cities would be better if the children growing up saw people who weren't committing crime or dealing drugs. Then they could go to school to be a doctor or something better than just another criminal. We can change this as a community when we hold our community and other people accountable. And when those people are accountable to something transcendent that is better than themselves. Because you're not good. So you have to look at something that is good. What embodies goodness. And then emulate that. Emulate that which makes things better. Sam Harris can have all he wants with saying, let's cause less suffering. Tell me what naturally will cause less suffering without something that's actually transcendent above him that says, hey, this is wrong. Because people won't give you that. They won't. I'm going to end that right there. Again, if you want to email me, themichaelshornshow@gmail.com. Questions, comments, yell at me, cuss me out, whatever. That's it for this video. Bye-bye.